All right, man, peace. So, former pseudo militant intellectual and current woke old head NBA great Kareem Abdul-Jabbar recently has made some statements in which he believes that the NBA will surpass the NFL as the nation's number one sport. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
In an article for The Guardian, Basketball Hall of Famer Kareem Abdul-Jabbar said he believes the NBA will eventually eclipse the NFL as the most popular sports league in the United States. Mavs owner Mark Cuban made similar comments to the Boston Herald last week, saying the NBA has several advantages over other leagues that the NFL doesn't know how to handle controversy. Stephen A., why are people saying this right now?
Well, before Stephen A. jumps in, let me say this. The reason why people are saying this right now is because they feel like the NFL is vulnerable. The NFL for the last really 25 years has been the gorilla in the room in regards to American sports leagues. Most of these other sports leagues have had to kowtow to the NFL. They've had to reschedule their programming around the NFL. And right now, we're living in a very woke time period in which the NBA being the woke league, they feel like they're in their time. They're in the start of their potential rulership. They see how the NFL has suffered in regards to how their players perceive themselves to be treated in the NFL, particularly in light of the whole Colin Kaepernick issue, which to me is the main reason why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is levying these attacks. He is an adherent to the Colin Kaepernick religion. So I have no doubt that the reason why Kareem is making these statements is a form of predictive programming. And even in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that the the producer of this show is in the know in regards to Kareem. They have him down there with a witch's hat on. So what are they really saying about Kareem? And the NBA logo and the basketball is akin to a crystal ball. So in other words, they're saying that Kareem is quote unquote seeing into the future. He's making a statement based off of what he's predicting, based off of the quote unquote climate. And as we know, as I've stated in the past, climate, quote unquote, is just a term that is used to describe what the media is trying to create for the future, the atmosphere that the media is trying to create. It's really just a slogan for social engineering. We're in a certain climate now, right? The climate that 99% of the time is created by the media to control how people think about certain things. Anybody who pays attention knows that the NFL is being depicted as a racist league. When you say that the NFL is a racist league, normally what's implied is that the NBA is not a racist league. Well, the fact of the matter is that the NFL is no more racist than the NBA. The NFL has no black owners. The NBA only has one. The NBA has had some of the most overt racial issues between the two leagues in the last, 5 to 10 years. You have the Donald Sterling issue. You had the Danny Ferry issue down there in Atlanta. You've had the issue over the years with Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause and how they treated their players, particularly all-time great players like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. B.J. Armstrong himself alleged racial discrimination in regards to how he was treated in comparison to John Paxson and how John Paxson got the job that he has with Chicago. I mean, the list can go on and on in regards to how certain players have given their testimony in regards to how NBA owners have treated them. Michael Jordan himself stated that he was basically pimped out by Abe Pollin of the Washington Wizards. He was promised that he was going to have a chance to have a prominent position on the team, maybe even buy the team down the line if he came back and played for the Wizards. As we all know, he was summarily fired by the Wizards after he stopped playing. Why? Because Abe Pollin just looked at him as a slave, right? As a circus animal to bring in some notoriety and some more fans for his team. So, point being is this. The NFL right now is on the defensive. They have had a lot of chaos brought into their league, purposefully so, by the liberal agenda, the liberal powers that be, who activated one of their assets, that being Colin Kaepernick, to try to bring chaos into the NFL. The NBA sees that right now, and now they're looking at the NFL like a hurt animal. And we all know that the animals that are hurt are the ones that get gobbled up. So we'll see what happens.
I think there's the combination. The NBA continues to grow. It successfully globalized its brand.
Well, the NBA is more equipped for globalization because most of the world is at a level of poverty or pseudo-poverty. So when you have a sport like the NBA, basketball, all you need is a ball and a hoop. The NFL is not really equipped for mass globalization because in poverty-stricken countries, they're not going to run out and buy a bunch of equipment for little boys. It's easier just to have a ball and a goal. That's why sports like soccer and the NBA or basketball are so easily translatable across the world.
And ingratiated itself with the youth of America and beyond. Whereas the NFL, you got concerns about concussions, the health of players. You've got parents who don't want their kids to play. You've got parents who are scared to watch the sport themselves because of the excessive violence. The combination of the two have collided, and the NBA is on the verge of winning as an advantage. They're
on the verge of winning because they have the sponsorship of the liberal sports media. Once again, the power structure of the NFL, they have not shown any willingness to conform to the ideologies of this liberal time period that we're in. So now the liberal power structure has decided that they're going to implode the NFL. And this is what you saw with Kaepernick and these protests, which is what I've been telling you, brothers, for the longest time.
They're on the upswing. The same can't be said about the NFL despite the money involved.
Yeah, first, Kareem is right. Basketball is intrinsically the best team sport there is. It's close to a perfect team sport.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that football is right there, if not above it. Why? Because in basketball, everybody's playing with the hopes that they can get the ball. In football, you have certain positions where they know that they're not getting the ball. And that makes it even more of a team sport because you're not playing for glory. You're just playing for your position, right? And how your position relates to the rest of the team and the success of the team. In basketball, you have 5 guys on the court and they're all hoping to get the ball. You know, they know that there is a potential for them to get the ball, even if the play is not ran for them. Whether the play break down or if they get an offensive rebound or whatever, they can get the ball. In football, you have offensive linemen who know that they're not going to get the ball. You have run calls you have a run call that is called a run play that's called where offensive linemen, the tight end, the receiver, they're all blocking for somebody else. So I cannot agree that necessarily that basketball is the greatest team sport ideologically.
It is superior in most ways to NFL football, to soccer, to hockey. I mean, baseball, we can go on, and that's an argument for another day, as Stephen A. would say. But it's happening now, I believe, Kareem's timing. The Shazier injury and then the Tom Savage injury in high-profile games were horrifying. And it points out the intrinsic problem that the NFL has with violence. Violence is a part of the game that will never fully be separated out from football. It's rooted in the game itself.
Yes, and to you, that's a problem. But to the demographic of hardcore NFL fans, that's what attracts them. So that's not really the reason why the NFL is under attack. The reason why it's under attack is the reason that I stated. Because you have a certain force out there that wants to see it fall because the NFL and their elite, the owners, don't care for many of the liberal ideologies that are being pushed and promoted through the NBA. Wokeism, overexaltation of the worker class in the NBA, that being the players. The NFL is much more stratified. It's much more elitist. They separate those things. You're just here to be part of the brand. The NBA is much more Marxist in its ideologies, at least on the surface. As I've already stated, the NBA is just as racist, if not more, than the NFL. When you look at people, when you look at people like Donald Sterling and Jerry Reinsdorf, Abe Pollin, so on and so forth. The NBA has a long history of racist owners and racial issues. When you look at how James Dolan treated Charles Barkley, if an NFL owner had a former player who was black thrown out of the stadium like that, there would have been all sorts of allegations about racism. But because the NBA has this cloak around it like it's a woke league and it's so based in racial harmony, Very, very few people made that type of a statement or allegation about James Dolan. It was more that he was a piece of shit and he was a bad owner.
And when it's graphic on national television like that, it points out the fact that this is in certain ways an insurmountable problem for the NFL. Not that the NFL will ever go away, but it will be more marginalized in American culture in the future.
I believe that, and I've been telling you, brothers, that they've been trying to use the NFL. They've been trying to socially engineer the NFL so that they could use the NFL to socially engineer society. That's what all the protests were about. That's what they were all about, and that's what the attack on the NFL in regards to the physicality of it, the quote unquote brutality of it. That's what that's all been about. They're trying to tear down the NFL because they want to make other leagues that are more willing to work with the liberal ideologies. They want to glorify those leagues more. People like Adam Silver. You're not going to see any of the NFL owners or even the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell, at a homosexual parade. But you will see Adam Silver there. I wonder why.
Than it is today, while basketball will only continue to grow.
I don't think it'll be more marginalized in America. I just don't think it will successfully get globalized ever to the comparison of the NBA.
See, the more we find out about CTE, I think that's what's threatening
it. Still won't marginalize it here. It just won't
It does
grow.
not export
It would be limited.
Right.
It won't export.
And like you said, the younger generation, more into the NBA for sure. Social media,
And there's
how
more
they
money,
market the players.
more guaranteed dollars for players as well.
Well, look, I don't know if the younger generation is more into the NBA. I think that that's a more media narrative. I think that the younger generation is into all different type of things. A lot of the younger generation is more into video games than anything, than watching live sports. The younger generation is into things that are more technological. I don't think that the NFL is necessarily losing their fan base. I just think that they're under attack, and they have to understand who is attacking them and why. And when you have a person like Roger Goodell, who has his backbone in liberalism, that's just the wrong leader to have. But they may find this out a little bit too late. They have the wrong people. The owners have the wrong person trying to defend their image.
In the NFL?
No question.
At least I should say for the NFL. The NFL owners have the wrong person trying to defend their image.
No question. And speaking of hoops, Scotty.
But anyway, I thought that was an interesting segment in regards to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's prognostications for the future of the two leagues and which one will be more popular. We'll see where this goes. I'm sure that this will not be the last time that the NBA will allege that they're going to surpass the NFL. Peace.